Welcome to this week's Vision of Asia. I am Sheena Sharma. A museum honoring the World Trade Center Memorial opened this past Thursday at Ground Zero in a ceremony with President Obama present. It will be open to the public next Wednesday. And speaking of memorials, Memorial Day is Monday, May 25th. Each year on this day, we take a moment to remember the men and women who died while serving their country. And now, for the latest update on the 2014 Indian elections. Congratulations are in order for Narendra Modi, whose BJP party won in a landslide victory. They are calling it a people's victory. And in the words of Mr. Modi himself during his press conference in the state of Gujarat, quote, "Good days will be here soon." Other winners in the Congress party include Rahul and Sonia Gandhi, Rajnath Singh and Sushma Swaraj, as well as Bollywood actresses Kiran Kher and Hema Malini. Losers were Arvind Kejriwal, Vishwas Kumar, and Kapil Sibal, as well as Bollywood actress Jaya Prada. For the first time, ITV had live coverage of the Indian elections last Thursday night with Ashok Vyas hosting the show. Here's a peek into what went on.
इस चुनाव और इस चुनाव के परिणाम पर विश्लेषणात्मक चर्चा करने के लिए हमने भी ये महफिल सजाई है।
अशोक जी, ये वेव नहीं है, ये तो टोर्नेडो है। ये तो एक तूफान चल रहा है। ये वेव तो होती है ढीली ढाली, ये पूरे का पूरा टोर्नेडो है, तूफान है, और ये तूफान सारे इंडिया को घेर लेगा इस टाइम।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जो कहे उस पर हम चर्चा करें, क्योंकि वो आदमी तो इतने असत्य, इतने झूठ बोल चुका है। जो व्यक्ति अपने बच्चों की कसम खाता है, हम वो नहीं करेंगे। बाबा रामदेव जी के मंच पर रामलीला मैदान में फाइल फहराता और बोलता है कि हमारे पास 350 पन्नों या 575 पन्नों का एविडेंस है शीला दीक्षित के खिलाफ, हम उसको जेल में डाल देंगे, हमारी सरकार आए। और लोगों ने सोचा कि चलो ये हमको भ्रष्टाचार से मुक्ति दिलाएगा और अपराधियों को और जो भ्रष्ट नेता हैं उन लोगों को जेल में डालेगा।
आज की डेट में तुम देखोगे तो कौन प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना चाहता है? प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनने के लिए जिसने दावा किया, जिसको लोग चाहते हैं, वो है नरेंद्र मोदी। नरेंद्र मोदी दिल से प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना चाहता है, उसके लिए वो कोशिश कर रहा। उसके लिए उसने देखो 500 मीटिंग्स की, सब दूर घूमा, और उसने जो करके दिखाया पिछले 12-13 साल में, जो उसने गुजरात में किया, वो वही चीज़ वो दोहराना चाहता है। अब दूसरी तरफ तुम देखो अपने राहुल गांधी को, जो कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना ही नहीं चाहता। जो आदमी बनना ही नहीं चाहता, उसको तुम बनाने की क्यों कोशिश कर रहे हो?
For us, I request my friend from Detroit, Abra Chatterjee, who is closely following Indian elections. You are an engineer, sir, and tell me what has been the most important and significant feature of this election in 2014.
I think what has come out in this election is hope that the country comes out of the 5-year misgovernance of the Congress combine. We have not been able to govern the country well. There was policy paralysis, there was rampant corruption, and I think what the people of India at this point are looking for is liberation from the hold of the present government.
The FIA held a viewing for live coverage here in Times Square this past Thursday. And Modi fever has spread to Jackson Heights as well. Renee went there to get some feedback from Indian Americans on the elections.
World's largest democracy, India went to the polls from April 7 to May 12. Decision 2014 made on May 16th. And BJP, Narendra Modi's party, swept the polls, a historic low for the Congress party. And yesterday in Times Square, there was a euphoric mood for Modi supporters. And right now, I'm in Jackson Heights and Patel Brothers, and we're talking to a lot of people what they think about Mr. Narendra Modi, who's supposed to be the next Prime Minister of India in 2014.
हमें प्राउड है एज ए गुजराती कि हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी हो गए. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
India will progress very fast, and this is our dream, a big dream which will come true through Narendra Modi.
आज इंडिया को बदलाव की ज़रूरत थी और ये बदलाव सचमुच में बहुत अच्छी टाइम पर आया है, क्योंकि कांग्रेस वालों ने बहुत परेशान किया है, बहुत भ्रष्टाचार वगैरह हुआ है. अब इसकी जो अब ये आकर बराबर संभालेंगे और सबको खुश रखेंगे.
We have an enthusiastic supporter right here wearing a Modi vest. It's Nanu Bhai. Yes. I can see you're very, very happy.
I am very, very happy for Modi, for Prime Minister in Gujarat, in India.
He's a very good man, he's a very honest person, and he's a very intelligent. He knows better that how to, how to pick up the country and how to pick up the economy, everything.
What do you think contributed to his success?
Because his thought process and his management within Gujarat and his ideas regarding how businesses should work and how all the ideas should be implicated. He has brought Gujarat into prosperous states, one of the most prosperous states in India. And now when he's going to be Prime Minister in India, then he will definitely be a proud person to bring India up.
And Patel Brothers is distributing sweets over here.
Let's see what the next few years bring for India.
Were you expecting such a landslide victory, over 272 votes?
Not really. I thought it would be a coalition, there'd be a lot of fighting, etc., buying politicians, who will switch over to which party to get a majority. So yes, in that sense, it's a bit of a surprise.
Do you think Mr. Modi will be able to deliver his promises?
If he does what he's done in Gujarat, then I guess he should be able to, if he can do to the rest of India what has happened in Gujarat, 11% growth rate, that would be wonderful for all Indians. So let's hope so.
People are tired by Congress because of the corruption and 2G scam, Colgate, everything. You name it, corruption. People are tired and they select the good party who will give the freedom from the corruption.
I feel it's great actually. We need some change. Whatever party, their ruling party or this coming party, that's fine. But we need something that will improve our country. That's what we need, and what we are expecting from Modi and the Bharatiya Janata Party.
I'm here with Mr. Shiv Das, who's the chair of the Indian Jacksonites Merchant Association. Mr. Das, did you ever expect this kind of a landslide victory for BJP? This is the largest Indian mandate in 30 years.
See, I am here for more than 45 years. I have never seen elections like this in India. There had been elections, but not this big elections, with this margin, any party coming with this margin. BJP has come with full force and they have a majority now. I hope they will do something good for India.
I also believe that the rupee has strengthened since the time Modi's party has won such a big majority, and also the stock market went a record high.
Well, stock market will, as I said before, the market was waiting, people were waiting to invest in India. Now they have a little more open mind. They know Modi has come and new BJP government has come and they have come with majority. But sometimes when majority comes and there is no opposition, that's also not good for. If there is a opposition, it will be better government over there. But let's see what Modi does. And now Modi has come, and now I will pass on this to Renu. Because new government is coming, so you take over now.
Well, Mr. Modi, in his victory speech, has said that he will not betray the trust of the nation and he'll cooperate with all the parties in India to make India, brand India built on quality. Reporting from Jackson Heights, I'm Renee, ITV News.
Famed Indian film director Anurag Kashyap came to New York to talk about his movie Ugly. Ambalika Mishra interviewed Mr. Kashyap. Here is a clip.
अनुराग, ये बताइए, आपकी जो फिल्में हैं वो एक मैसेज देती हैं, मैसेज और वो समाज की वास्तविकता भी दिखाने का आप प्रयास करते हैं, तो उस समाज की वास्तविकता में क्या हिंसा, भाषा ये उतनी प्रचलित है जितनी कि आप अपनी फिल्मों में दिखाते हैं?
नहीं, फिल्म ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई चीज़ मैं वो चीज़ दिखाता हूँ जो बहुत प्रचलित है। मैंने ऐसी कभी मैंने फिल्म बनाई नहीं है। मैं फिल्में अक्सर वो चीज़ें दिखाती हैं जो समाज में हैं, लेकिन उनके बारे में ज़्यादातर हम लोग मेन स्ट्रीम में बात नहीं करते हैं। जैसे जो हमारे समाज में जो हमारी जो 90% जो हमारा सिनेमा है वो सिर्फ अच्छी चीज़ों और अच्छाई के बारे में, बाकी पर्दा ढका रहता है। और मैं हमेशा वो दिखाने की कोशिश करता हूँ जो पर्दे के नीचे है या दरी के नीचे छुपा रखा है, हमने कूड़ेदान में फेंक दिया है, तो मैं हमेशा उधर झांकने की कोशिश करता हूँ।
कली को टाइम पे छोड़ देना, नहीं तो मैं शॉमी को फोन करके बोल दूंगी।
बेटा 5 मिनट्स के लिए यहाँ बैठो, मैं एक छोटा सा काम करके आता हूँ। भाई साहब, इस गाड़ी में एक बच्ची बैठी थी, आपने देखी तो नहीं? कहाँ है? छोटी बच्ची थी गाड़ी में, देखी क्या? नहीं देखा। फोन बज रहा है तुम्हारा।
बहुत बड़ा हीरो है, छोटी लड़की को गाड़ी में अकेला छोड़ के जाता है। क्या नाम है तेरा?
मेरा नाम राहुल कपूर है।
वार्ष्णेय लिखा है।
सर, एक्टर लोग ऐसा करते हैं, घर पे एक नाम और पर्दे के लिए दूसरा नाम।
क्यों? अमिताभ बच्चन का क्या है नाम घर पे?
बेटी जिंदा मांगती है तो 10 लाख का इंतजाम कर।
हम किसी से 20 लाख उधार नहीं ले सकते क्या?
देख, उसके नए बाप को बोल, वो या तो पैसे देगा नहीं तो कली को कहीं ना कहीं से ढूंढ निकालेगा।
ये बच्ची दे दे।
डाल इसको।
हेलो।
तेरी बेटी मेरे पास है, तुझे जिंदा वापस चाहिए तो 20 लाख रुपए का इंतजाम करके रखना। 50 लाख।
65 लाख। अनुराग, आपकी जो फिल्में होती हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं शुरुआत की जो फिल्में थी कहीं ना कहीं कंट्रोवर्सी करते, विवाद पैदा करती हैं। आप क्यों सोचते हैं कि उन फिल्मों को लेकर के विवाद होता है?
नहीं, विवाद इसलिए होता है क्योंकि समाज कई बार तैयार नहीं होता है उन चीज़ों को देखने के लिए। वही है, मतलब विवाद होने का कारण भी वही है जिस कारण से हम इन चीज़ों को छुपा के रखते हैं और ढक के रखते हैं। जब चीज़ें छुपी, मतलब घर में भी कभी कुछ हो जाता है, ख़ास तौर पे हमारे घर की जो लड़कियों के साथ अगर कुछ रहता है, हमेशा पहली चीज़ जो हमारा समाज जो है, एक 80% समाज जो उनको ये बोलता है कि किसी को बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, चुपचाप रखो, बेइज्जती होगी। और वो सारी चीज़ें जो चीज़ें ढक देते हैं हम लोग सिर्फ समाज के डर से, तो उन चीज़ों को जब आप बाहर दिखाएंगे तो विवाद तो होगा ही, क्योंकि लोग नहीं चाहते हैं कि ये चीज़ें बात की जाएँ, डिस्कस की जाएँ। लेकिन मेरा मानना है कि जब तक हम इनके बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे तब तक हम लोग जो इनसे निजात नहीं पाएंगे, तब तक हम लोग इनसे उभरेंगे नहीं, और हम उनसे डील करना जो है सीख नहीं पाएंगे, हम समझौता करके बैठ जाते हैं।
आपकी जो पिक्चर यहाँ दिखाई गई अगली, वो मैंने शुरू के 1-2 सीन मिस किए, लेकिन जब पूरी ख़त्म हुई तो लगा मुझे कि अभी हाल में ही शायद दिल्ली में ऐसा वाक़या था कि एक रिश्तेदार ने ही अपनी बेटी को, भांजी को या किसी को किडनैप कर लिया था। तो क्या आपकी जो कहानी का आइडिया होते हैं, विचार आते हैं, वो किसी एक ख़ास खबर को लेकर या इंसिडेंट को लेकर के आप शुरू करते हैं?
नहीं, शुरुआत हमेशा एक इंसिडेंट से ही होती है, लेकिन जाते जाते वो चीज़ें जो हैं बहुत सारे हमारे समाज की परतों को एक्सप्लोर करने की कोशिश करती है। तो शुरुआत तो हमेशा एक इंसिडेंट से होती है, लेकिन फिर धीरे धीरे आप जो है, हम लोग ऐसे क्यों हैं, हम लोग क्यों करते हैं और क्या करते हैं और क्या होता है, उन सारी चीज़ों को मैं जानने की कोशिश करता हूँ फिर धीरे धीरे।
आपने जो अपने इस तरह की जो फिल्में सबसे पहले लिखी थी वो सत्या थी, जो काफ़ी प्रसिद्ध भी रही। उसके बाद आपकी जो फिल्म कौन सी थी?
नहीं, सत्या के बाद मैंने कौन, शूल, ये 2 फिल्में लिखी थी।
नहीं लिखी नहीं, मतलब जो आपकी खुद की बनी।
जो मैंने पहली फिल्म बनाई थी वो थी 5, जो आज तक रिलीज़ नहीं हुई है।
क्या किस कारण से? वो तो सेंसर बोर्ड ने उसमें बहुत कटौती करने की मांग की थी, लेकिन आपने उसका शायद प्रतिरोध करते हुए उसको रिलीज़ नहीं कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, सेंसर बोर्ड ने किया था, उसके बाद 2 साल लड़ाई भी हुई हमारी, और सेंसर बोर्ड ने बाद में फिल्म क्लियर भी कर दी थी। तो दिक्कत सेंसर बोर्ड की वजह से नहीं है, ये दिक्कत थी क्योंकि पिक्चर फिर उसके बाद कुछ प्रोड्यूसर्स की अपनी कुछ दिक्कतें थी जिसमें फंस गई, और फिर धीरे धीरे समय निकल गया और रिलीज़ नहीं हो पाई।
कभी उम्मीद है उसको रिलीज़ करने की?
पता नहीं, मुझे नहीं मालूम प्रोड्यूसर की क्या दिक्कत है। मैं खैर अभी भूल चुका हूँ उसके बारे में।
5 हो या ब्लैक फ्राइडे हो या आपकी अगली हो, आपको सेंसर बोर्ड से काफ़ी तकलीफ़ें मिलती रही हैं।
सेंसर बोर्ड तो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है हमारे समाज का, गवर्नमेंट का, सोसाइटी का, और वो लोग अगर एक पर्सनल लेवल पे उनका कुछ भी ओपिनियन हो, लेकिन वो लोग भी काफ़ी सारे नियम कानून में बंधे हुए हैं। और दिक्कत सेंसर बोर्ड से इतनी नहीं है जितनी मेरी सरकार से होती है, जितनी मेरी सरकार के गाइडलाइंस और रूल से होती हैं, जो कि वो लोग वो बहुत जल्दी किसी भी चीज़ से इफेक्ट हो जाते हैं। मतलब अगर आप बाहर जाएं, अगर कोई आदमी बोलता है कि मुझे बुरा लगा आपकी फिल्म में ये देख करके, तो बाहर का जो सोसाइटी और समाज है या कानून है, वो उनको बोलता है आपको बुरा लगा तो आप उससे डील करिए, क्योंकि ये चीज़ जो दिखाई गई है वो वास्तविक है, ये एग्जिस्ट करती है और ये दिखाई जाएगी। अगर आपको बुरा लग रहा है तो आप उससे डील करना सीखिए, तभी आदमी बड़ा होता है। हमारे कानून ऐसे हैं जो हमारे कानून हमारे समाज को बड़ा नहीं होने देते। हमारे कानून, अच्छा तुमको बुरा लगा ये काटो फिल्म में से, तो सब लोग जो है बच्चे बन के रहते हैं। तो उसी वही कारण है कि आज हमारे देश में इतना भ्रष्टाचार है और लोगों को बहला फुसला के रखा गया है, उनको बच्चा बना के रखा गया है और हमारा भरपूर फ़ायदा उठाया जाता है।
अगली की क्या स्थिति है आपके? इसने फिल्म फेस्टिवल्स में तो काफ़ी आप ले गए हैं इसको, और इसको काफ़ी सराहा गया है, पर शायद अभी भी जिसको कहते हैं आप लॉगर हेड हैं गवर्नमेंट से कुछ सीन काटने के लिए कि रिलीज़ की वो हो गई परमिशन?
नहीं, गवर्नमेंट के साथ के अगेंस्ट हमने सेंसर बोर्ड के अगेंस्ट केस किया था, जिसमें एक जो सिगरेट्स वाले के ऊपर, और जजमेंट आया है और हाई कोर्ट ने बोला है आप सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में पिटीशन डालिए रूल चेंज करने के लिए, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते। तो अभी हमारे पास कोई चारा नहीं है। तो अभी जब मैं वापस जाऊंगा तो देखूंगा कि कल ही आया डिसीजन, सो वापस जाऊंगा तो देखूंगा क्या करना है।
अनुराग, आप एक उस पीढ़ी के कलाकार हैं जो हिंदी सिनेमा में एकदम से नई नई सोच और नए नए तरीके की फिल्में लेकर के आ रहे हैं, और इन सबसे अच्छी बात जो है कि इस तरह की फिल्मों के ऑडियंस भी बढ़ रहे हैं। पहले ये कहा जाता था कि ऑडियंस वो ही लेंगे जो कि उनको परोसा जाएगा, लेकिन आप लोग अपनी समझ की, अपनी जो आपकी क्रिएटिविटी है उसको प्रस्तुत कर रहे हैं, तो आप इस बारे में क्या कहेंगे?
नहीं, हम लोग ने अपनी कोशिश की और अभी एक ऑडियंस बन गई है जो नया तरह का सिनेमा देखना चाहती है और देख रही है, तो अच्छी बात है। हम लोग मतलब उसका हम लोग एक डिसएडवांटेज ये है कि बहुत बड़ी ऑडियंस नहीं है। एडवांटेज ये है उसका कि हम लोग जो सिनेमा बना रहे हैं वो हम और बना सकते हैं, और धीरे धीरे हमारी ऑडियंस बढ़ती रहेगी, हमारे बजट बढ़ते रहेंगे। तो अभी हम लोग क्या बहुत बड़े स्केल पे फिल्म नहीं बना सकते हैं क्योंकि हमारी ऑडियंस उतनी बड़ी है नहीं, तो हमें अपने आप को सीमित रखना पड़ेगा। तो हम जिस तरह से ऑडियंस धीरे धीरे बढ़ रही है और जितनी नई जनरेशन आ रही है जो एजुकेटेड है, जो सिनेमा एजुकेटेड है, सिनेमा लिटरेट है, और उनको सिनेमा में को सीरियसली देखना है, तो उनके साथ साथ काफ़ी चीज़ें बदलेंगी।
तो आप क्या कहते हैं, मानते हैं कि आपकी फिल्में इस समय ज़्यादा करके अर्बन ऑडियंस के लिए है?
नहीं, मेरी फिल्में सभी ऑडियंस के लिए हैं, लेकिन कई ऑडियंस ऐसी है जो बिना स्टार कास्ट के पिक्चर देखने नहीं आती, लेकिन जब भी उन्होंने फिल्म को डिस्कवर किया उन्हें पसंद आई है। तो ये नहीं, मेरी फिल्में किसी ऐसे ऑडियंस के लिए नहीं है। मेरी फिल्म वो है जो मैं बनाना चाहता हूँ, जो मुझे मालूम है जिसकी ऑडियंस है, जो लोग देखेंगे तो सराहेंगे, लेकिन वो लोग देखने कब आते हैं वो धीरे धीरे बढ़ेगा। तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मेरी फिल्म किसी अर्बन ऑडियंस के लिए।
हेलो, तेरी आवाज है ना? तेरी बेटी है तो मेरी भी बेटी है।
पापा, मुझे आपके पास आना है।
अब आप बता रहे हैं कि मैंने खुद ही अपनी बेटी को गायब किया?
करेक्ट।
कुछ तो दिमाग वाली बात करें ना सर।
दिमाग नहीं मेरे को।
We appreciate our sponsors with commercial breaks. Stay tuned and we will be back shortly. The off-Broadway show They Call Me Q has been running for 2 years, with star Anne Kurat Gadwani performing a monologue. Renee interviewed the director, producer, and performers in the play. Here are some highlights.
I'm talking to Kurat Ann Kadwani, and you're a writer and performer, and she's written the solo play, They Call Me Q, and it debuted in Chicago in 2012, and it's going through the college circuit, and now it's off-Broadway over here in St. Luke's Theater in Manhattan. So it's going to be on May 7th, May 19th. So, Kurat, tell us a little bit about the genesis of the play. I know it's a comedy, but tell us a little bit more about it, and what made you write it?
I play about 13 characters in 1 hour, ranging from various Indian characters. I play my parents. I play different Indian women at different stages in their lives. And then I play a lot of urban characters, black, white, Spanish characters, to give truly a sense of the world that we live in today. I'm of Indian background. I grew up in America, and how difficult that is for so many of us to figure out who we are in that scope. So that's why I wrote the play, to tell my story, the post-immigrant experience, and to show people that they're not alone when they feel that they don't belong in either culture. They don't belong in their Indian culture, or they don't belong in the American culture, or whatever culture you are. There are a lot of people who feel that way. There are a lot of people who are trying to figure out who they are.
I have just been named the most difficult name for anyone to pronounce. Ever. No, it wasn't to Queens where we moved, but to the Bronx, where I didn't want to be known through any cultural reference, where I was tired of trying so hard, where I was building up like the pressure cooker my mother used to cook biryani, and I was gonna have to fight to the top. Or change.
So it's about straddling between two cultures, between two worlds, and it's the world that you're talking about. It's unique, but at the same time universal, so people can relate to it and resonate with their experiences as well. Something that you want to share with our viewers about the play, you know, how long it took you to write it, and you know, of course, it's a labor of love. It's about you.
Yes. Well, it took me about 4 years on and off to write it, because we were so specific with editing it and cutting it down, making sure that every single word, every single line that each of the characters says makes sense and is important in telling the overall story. Nothing is there just because we felt like it. Every single line moves the plot forward. And I think it's just so fun for me to perform it. I wanted to write something that I would love performing over and over again, because this is my dream. And it's a dream come true to have it produced off-Broadway finally. And I'm just so thrilled, and I hope that everyone can come out and experience something truly different.
So it's your first time writing an off-Broadway show?
Absolutely, yeah.
So this must be challenging, and at the same time you're making you feel very ecstatic about it.
I'm so ecstatic about it. You know, I've been performing the show over 50 times all over the country. I performed it in Hawaii, in Canada, at colleges in the most rural parts of the country. So it just fills me with such joy to bring it into the home of the theater district in Midtown Manhattan, in a huge off-Broadway, beautiful stage. I just couldn't be more happy.
Could you tell us what has been the response so far in the last 2 years as this play has been going on the road?
Well, knock on wood, I always say that there hasn't been a bad review yet. And you know, in terms of the press seems to really enjoy it and seems to really understand the different themes that I have in there, because it is very entertaining, but at the end of the day, it's very educating as well. There are lots of like really deep themes in there that if you really think about the different topics that I bring into play, you're like, oh, okay, I understand right now. And in terms of just the social interaction with the audiences, people all over the country have been coming up to me and telling me, you know, a 75-year-old white woman in Florida saying, people mispronounce my name when I was growing up, to Hawaiians, you know, saying that they're brown Hawaiians versus white Hawaiians and how they had a challenge for themselves. So I feel that no matter where I perform it in the country, no matter what the demographic of the audience is, each person can pull a different theme, and it relates to them, and they feel it so deeply. In DC, a woman was crying after the show because she said that the play made her realize how far she had come in her own life, and to really appreciate these little moments that we can sometimes take for granted.
So it touches the core of everyone, especially if and we all, it's a country of immigrants. So whether some came early, some came late, but we're talking about the exceptional, you know, the experience of South Asian community over here, and how they have adopted this culture. And I guess this play takes it on.
Absolutely. You know, I took great pains to make sure that this play shows our Indian culture in a very great light. In terms of, you know, even I depict my parents, so I wanted people to never to think that I'm disrespecting them, but rather to say, look, let's be proud of our Indian culture. It's a beautiful culture, and be proud of whatever your culture is. But, you know, I'm so happy that the show has received such a great response, because at the end of the day, I play a variety of Indian people in the show, and I talk, you know, and I talk a lot about our Indian history, our Indian culture, the Indian food my mother makes, the Hawa Mahal in Jaipur. So, you know, people are really learning about the Indian culture in such a magical, you know, really an entertaining way. And I think they really come out with it saying, wow, I learned so much about the Indian culture, but I learned so much about myself as well.
Now you play about over 13 characters, you said, and it's nonstop 60 minutes?
That's right.
Wow, that could be exhausting.
It is. It can be exhausting, but I love it so much. I'm on this high when I'm on stage performing, and I just don't want it to stop. And sometimes I know I'm getting to the end, and I feel sad about that.
Talking to Obaid Kadwani, who's a co-producer and co-director of They Call Me Q. First of all, Obaid, tell us about, I know she's a sister. At the same time, you're professional actors as well. Tell us the name. You know, it's a very catchy title. They Call Me Q.
Call Me Q. You know, it's called They Call Me Q because as immigrants, many of us have come to this country. At some point, someone has always gone to us, what's your name? Now, I myself, when I say my name Obaid, I'm used to everybody going, what? And I have to explain a catchy way to say it. So growing up, Kurat had that. And that became a defining moment of being an outsider. You know, you're always having to fit in. And that's what this play is about. That's why it's called They Call Me Q. This play is the journey of how a person comes to this country, even though she was only 3 when she came here, feeling like an outsider. And we all have felt that at some point. And as we go through life's journey, through life's funny moments, sad moments, you know, happy moments, and learning how to come to a peace with being Indians and also Americans, accepting American culture and also Indian culture.
It's all about you know, acclimating yourself in a new culture, and at the same time putting out your own heritage out there.
Yes, exactly. This play actually shows, many times we come to this country, we feel that, oh, our parents don't understand. But our parents' wisdom does translate. So we learn to understand that, oh, our parents do matter. And then that makes us eventually feel good when we accept that our parents are wise. You know, coming to this country, once we learn that our parents are actually, you know, not just our parents, but also, for example, making new friends who have different cultural experiences, and find that balance between accepting their culture and you accept their culture, they accept yours, the differences. That's what it's about. But, you know, the play is at its heart a comedy. It's an emotionally charged comedy. You start the play off laughing, you finish watching the play laughing, because that's how we all hope our lives go. And in between, you come to peace with yourself.
They tell us, I know that Kurat Ann is your sister, and is it hard to direct your own sibling?
Well, it wasn't hard for me. It was hard. Maybe it was hard for her because
you call the shots.
I'm ruthless because, you know.
Oh my God.
Because, you know, to me, I have done so much. I've been very blessed, and I've acted in Bollywood. I've acted on American shows. So I've seen how important it is to have a good product. You can't be aware of actors' feelings. So I told her when she said, will you direct? I said, I want a very good product. When I am directing you, you're not my sister. I want what I want. I want every line of the play to make the audience member feel something. I made her cut out half the play.
Your mom is so dumb. She cooks curry with Old Spice. You hit Catherine with your rope. I learned in class that the British kept Indians as captives. That's what you're doing to me right now. I'm happy with being. You're finally like loosening up, Q. Perhaps subconsciously, yet pervasive. I am reduced to the other. Mindy, good luck. Hello. I would have slapped her and told her that people are important. They can't just throw us away. I've dreamed through you. Come on, big money. Baby, use your college education and get me on this show.
But it's a great play now. Every line achieves something, moves you, makes you feel something. Every character moves the journey along. So it was, but you know what? It was a lot of fun. Kurat's a very talented actress. I've been very fortunate to act with very talented actresses, Bollywood here, all that. she's very talented. You give her, you tell her I want this emotion on this line, she will figure out how to get it there. That's why it's awesome.
So what are your expectations from May 17th onwards?
Well, May 17th, we're actually going to be having a red carpet premiere kickoff party, and you're invited, Renu, so I hope you're going to be there. You know, it's going to be a great gala. And after that, from May 19th, the play begins. I really, you know, Ed Gaines, St. Luke's Theatre, the Americans have shown their faith in an Indian play. Will Indians show that that faith was well put? If they come out, if they support, if they buy the tickets and see the play, which they will love, I guarantee it, then there'll be more such plays. There'll be more Indian actors, Indian actresses getting chances. If they don't support, then we ourselves are cutting ourselves off at the knees. So let's not do that. Let's support.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Renu.
I'm talking to co-director Claudia Gaspar. And Claudia, how is it working with the Kadwanis, brother and sister? Of course, you co-directing with a brother and then, you know, directing the sister.
Yes, well, actually, it's funny because I've known the Kadwanis for quite a long time. Kurat and I actually went to high school together, which is how we originally met on the speech and debate team, which she talks about her love of performing beginning. So it's been a wonderful experience having the support of Obaid as a co-director. And just being able to pick up on different things and work together in tandem. And it's been a lot easier than one might actually think to work together because we both have so much to contribute and we really can work and play off of each other to kind of bring that out since we both know her so well.
Talking to Ed Gaines, who's a co-producer of They Call Me Q, and he also owns St. Luke's Theatre, where it's going to be put out, this play.
Exactly.
You know, did you watch this play before?
No, I've never seen the play. I've seen some videos, I've seen photos, I've read the script, I've met the individuals, obviously, and I'm very impressed with them and the project, and I felt this was something that I should help in bringing to the stage in New York.
So it's They Call Me Q, 13 characters, 1 actor. It's St. Luke's Theatre, that's Ed Gaines Theatre on 46th Street, off-Broadway show, hitting it on May 19th. Reporting from Toronto Restaurant in Manhattan, I'm Renee, ITV News.
Vision of Asia will continue after these short messages, so don't go away. And now for an immigration update with attorney Michael Fulwani and attorney David Nachman.
Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and you. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us my law partner David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thanks so much, Michael.
So in today's program is a very timely subject. Lot of our clients will file H-1B cases through our law firm. And first of all, I want to wish good luck to those who got into the lottery program. As you know, the number of applications was so large that they could not accommodate within the quota that we had, as a result of which I would say about 40 to 50% of the cases will be coming back, and about 50% of the cases got approved. So first of all, congratulations, and for winning the lottery and getting your H1 processing should be done soon. So that's good news. The bad news is for those people that did not make it this time. Even if they were qualified, employer was genuine, everything was done perfectly, they couldn't make it just because of the lottery program. So let's talk about the situation. What are the options that these people have? They have to go back to India, they can remain here, they can change their status, they can do something, they can get married to a citizen, green card holder, whatever. Right. Let's talk about some possible options. And also for those whose H-1Bs were filed, they accepted, but now they are getting an RFE. RFE is a request for further evidence. That means the Immigration Service needs to know more. They want some additional information, documentation to complete the processing. So let's talk about, David, about the people that couldn't make it? What can we do for them? And what about the RFEs?
Okay. Well, one of the things I think we should do is update our viewers with regard to some of the statistics so that they understand exactly what happened, because I think that it's important to take a look at the H-1B season as a snapshot so that everyone understands what's going on, because it also has to do with a perception of how the economy is going to do 6 months from now. Because remember that these H-1Bs that people applied for kick in on October 1st. So I think that what it does is it stands as a tribute to what we perceive the economy to be able to do in October. Yeah. So the fact that they received, it was 172,500 H-1Bs within the first 5 days of visa processing is really incredible. It's back basically to the numbers that we saw in 2008. And so what they did was on April 7th, they had a sufficient number of H-1Bs to reach the cap. That was both the 20,000 cap and the 65 cap. So that happened in April. And by the way, if anyone is interested in reading a bit about our predictions, Michael's predictions, my predictions, and also Rabindra Singh in our office, you can take a look at an article which we wrote that's out on the internet. It's called March Madness, referring to the basketball game. That was the double entendre. March Madness brings April sadness. And of course now it's sadness that persists not just in April, but in May and June, because everyone's got to figure out now, if you didn't get that H-1B, what are you going to do? Yes. So that's what we have to try to figure out. But on April 1st, they received, so April 1st through 5th, they received the 172,005. On April 10th, they conducted their lottery, okay? Then on, and by the way, just to let everyone know, on March 25th, so this is before April 1st, they said that they would have all of the premium processing done by no later than April 28th. Okay, and then as of March 5th, they announced that they were starting to send back the H-1Bs that were not chosen under the cap. So that's basically the timeline about what's happening. Now, as Michael properly pointed out, so where does that leave people if you didn't have an H-1B that was chosen? Obviously, if your H-1B was chosen, then of course that means that you're in the running. Many of you by this time have received possibly approvals. If you have, congratulations, that's wonderful. What that means is if you were in OPT and you have an approved H-1B, of course, your OPT automatically extends until October 1st, and you can continue in OPT status until your H-1B takes over. That's relatively easy.
Simple.
Relatively easy. For those of you who did not receive approvals, you may receive dreaded RFEs, requests for evidence. And probably many of you will be frustrated by an RFE, but the first thing I think everyone needs to understand, and I think, Michael, you would agree with this, is that an RFE is not a denial. Because many people think that if they get an RFE, it means, oh, my case is denied. But that's not, in fact, the case. What it is that the government is seeking additional clarification. And they, in an RFE for an H-1B, what they would be doing is requesting information about confirming that, in fact, the individual is performing services in a specialty occupation, confirming, in fact, that the employer has the ability to pay the wages, also confirming the fact that the employer has professional and specialty occupation work. Also, there may be questions about third-party sites, which is a common, obviously, many of these H-1Bs were IT H-1Bs, and so individuals may be placed out on site, and they want to confirm, the government wants to confirm that there's...
Could be many more questions about the person himself, the
Absolutely.
equivalency of the experience, the degree, and the degree relevancy, and any kind of questions that can come up.
Exactly.
But the most important thing is this, and between you and me. Over the years,
and our viewers.
And over the years that we have been seeing how the responses were given to RFEs, we have seen some lawyers, unfortunately, not experienced, have responded in a way that was not forceful, that was not relevant, that did not make it.
That's exactly right.
The response to RFE was received, and they still did not agree and denied.
Exactly.
So
it's super.
It is very, very important that you got
important.
to go to a law firm that has a lot of experience in dealing with the RFEs.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting any reflection on any lawyers. I'm not saying. that you and me are the only best top lawyers in the world. There are few good lawyers, there are few bad lawyers. There are lawyers who are good in a way, but not experienced. I don't mean good and bad in moral or character, but it's a matter of experience. That's very, very important. And
Right.
of course, we have a large number of companies and H1s, and we have been doing RFEs for a long periods of time, so we have a lot of experience. I'm not promoting necessarily, but I'm giving them the basic information that you got to get a very good qualified experienced attorney to respond to the RFE. Don't take it lightly.
That's right.
And it must be submitted within a time frame.
Right. Well, they give you a time frame, and you have to
Whatever,
submit
it
it
has to
within
be very
that time
important.
frame.
There's no extension for that.
That's right. And I think that what Michael says experience, but I think it's even deeper than experience. It really is the RFE, the request for evidence, is an academic exercise. Because what it is that they're saying, please justify why this particular occupation is professional and specialty. Well, the words professional and specialty have a meaning, and that meaning comes out of the regulations. And so what a lawyer is supposed to do is go into the regulations, dig in, and explain exactly to the USCIS what professional and specialty occupation means, and why is this particular occupation professional and specialty, and why is there a particular need by the employer for that specific occupation, that professional and specialty occupation. So, there are nuances that are involved in the response to these RFEs. And I think that Michael made a great point, and that is it's really important to ensure that you're going to find someone who's going to give the time, the effort, and the patience and devote that to preparing the RFE responses.
So let's one more question. Those who were approved, but some of them got approval of the petition, but not the I-94. In other words, they
That's
did not
right.
get the change of status for the reason they might not have been maintaining their previous H1 status
correct.
or any other
Correct.
issues. If they're not eligible for adjustment or change of status, they still approve. That means they won't deny just because
Right.
of that reason.
Well, I think it's really important, Michael, that we explain to our viewers so that they understand that
Yeah.
when you do an H-1B is not just one petition. It's a petition and an application together. It's a petition for H-1B, and that means that the individual has to be recognized as being a professional and specialty occupation worker and work for that petitioner. But the second piece of it is an application for a change of status
Correct.
if you've asked for one in the United States. And that requires the government to take a look at whether or not the individual has maintained their status, has accurately maintained their status throughout their stay in the United States and not fallen out of
So
status.
those kind of cases, they may still be able to go abroad to American consul.
Right,
and
so if
apply-
the application for change of status is denied,
is
they
denied or
could-
not granted, yeah.
Right. So obviously, within about 14 days of October 1st, the individual is permitted to depart from the United States, make an application at the U.S. consulate on a DS-160 form, and present their case for an H-1B stamping at the U.S. consulate.
And then
abroad.
again, you have to also be fully prepared for a visa processing, because there's other, kind of issues or problems that come in many cases.
Correct.
They will keep the cases pending under Section 221 G of the
Exactly.
Immigration Act, and for months sometimes the cases are pending. So you have to be very careful when you are going for a visa processing.
That's
Also,
right.
don't forget the unlawful presence part of it. So if a person, even as a student, let us say, he had applied for a change of status and it was denied, then there's a question that it triggers an unlawful presence. Or even those cases that are approved. But let us say visitor visa applicant applied for change of status, the change of status not granted but approved. There's no unlawful presence at the present time. But it's going to trigger if he doesn't depart within a certain period.
Correct.
So that kind of person should make sure that he leaves the country and applies for the H1 at the American consul within the time frame, not to trigger the unlawful presence. So a lot of these issues that come both ways, even for those whose petitions are approved, because they have to also understand they cannot start working unless, of course, they are working already on OPT. That's a different thing. But the legally speaking, H1 employment only starts on October 1st. Even if your case got approved in a premium processing in May, let us say,
Right.
you cannot start working on H1. You can continue to work on a OPT, it's a different thing.
Right. And I think it's really important for our viewers to understand that if your H-1B was not chosen, and of course we are sorry, of course, that that happened, but if your H-1B was not chosen, don't give up hope. There may be other options available
Let's
to you.
talk about other options. For example.
One of the options which we're taking a really close look at is the possibility of using the O visa classification as a way to, because, if you look at the genesis of the O visa, what happened was when back in, I think it was 1991, when they changed the law and put the cap on the H-1Bs, they opened up other visas. So the O, the P, the Q, and the R all opened up. And that was the quid pro quo for putting a cap on the H-1B. So,
but not everybody can qualify.
Not everyone's going to qualify.
So let's
for
talk
that.
other
That's
options.
Right.
Other options are a student. Okay, OPD. Listen,
well,
he can go back. He can go back to another course.
He can go
and
back to
continue
school.
the F1 student.
As long as he doesn't
for
go
one
back
more
to
year.
Tri-Valley, it's not a problem at all, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, be careful if you're going back to school to make sure that you're going into a bona fide program. Many programs right now are under investigation by ICE because they are not bona fide, so you have to look very closely
Also, you have
at
to
that.
watch the service program
of course.
always. Some people get out of that and becomes a big problem.
Right.
Even those students that are going on a traveling abroad and getting a new visa or whatever, coming back, and we have seen some cases the service has been terminated. They'll have a big problem at the CBP, at the port of entry.
That's
so
exactly right.
all these issues, all these questions really have to be taken into consideration in even choosing the option. Of course, the easiest is young guy. He's like a film actor, Hollywood actor, Bollywood actor. He gets a pretty wife. He gets married, a citizen. He doesn't forget all that denials of H1 or anything. Forget everything. As long as there is no serious crime committed or fraud committed, he can apply for adjustment of his status and get a green card within 4 months, 5 months.
Exactly.
Green card holder may take some time also.
Right.
So these are some of the options.
Well, marriage to a U.S. citizen is always an option, and it's something that we handle on a regular basis, and we're happy to do that for our clients, but it's not an option that works for everyone. But there are options out there, and we definitely recommend that you consult with a qualified immigration professional to figure out what options work for you.
Thank you very much, David. I think we're coming to the end of the program. And all of you, we thank you very much for watching the program. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please contact us. We'll be more than happy to respond to you. Thank you and goodbye.
That is all the time we have for today's Vision of Asia program, but we will be back next Sunday, same time right here on ITV. Until then, everyone, take care. I'm Sheena Sharma. Namaste.
तुझसे ही तो मिली है राहत, तू ही तो मेरी है चाहत, तुझसे ही तो जुड़ी जिंदगी, तेरी यादें हैं कुछ अधूरी, सांस आधी है कुछ है पूरी, आंखों में है कैसी ये